Welcome to Tell Me a Story. My name's Adina Samuels, and I'm inviting anyone and everyone to share their stories with me. Let's see what we get. Jordana, welcome to Tell Me a Story. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks. I'm excited.
Very excited to have you here too. Please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, so I'm Jordana. I'm from Toronto, and I am a videographer slash video editor and content creator.
Awesome. So you actually reached out to me saying that you had quite a story to share. So I'm very excited to hear it. I know nothing going into this, so take it away.
Okay. So it all starts off, it was August 2023, and I had just gotten married, and we just moved in together to our first apartment. And the apartment was like, it was okay, nothing special. But it was fine for our needs. And the one thing that we didn't like about it, though, was that there was no air conditioning. And we both run like very hot. Like we're the people that in the winter we have like the window open, the fan going. So
Crazy.
it was a little bit brutal with the air conditioning.
Are you in Toronto together at this point?
It was in Hamilton.
In Hamilton. Okay.
Yeah. And it was like August. It wasn't the most hot, but we were still like, oh my God, we can't do this,
It's really hot.
Yeah, pretty bad. So we decided to buy one of those like portable air conditioners that you like stick the tube out the window. The ones? Yeah. So we got one of those and it improved. It was better. But the first time we used it, we noticed like a really weird smell. And it was like a very like fishy smell, like kind of like rotten and fishy. Yeah. And we were like, okay, maybe it's just like, the new appliance smell, right? So we just
that plasticky kind of like manufacturing. Yeah.
So we just kind of left it and we're like, it'll go away, but it didn't go away. And it got worse. And so
are you like running the air conditioner nonstop? Like it's just in the background of your lives, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like whenever we were home, definitely all night. And I mean, it was in the living room, but it was like a tiny place. It could reach pretty much from the living room to the bedroom.
Okay.
So we would run it pretty much constantly. And we were like, we don't know what the smell is. So we were like, maybe it's not the air conditioner. Maybe it's just something in the house that's being, brought up by the air conditioner. So, we clean the drains, we clean the fridge, we clean the oven. We're like, maybe something stuck behind the oven and the wall. Like, just going crazy, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we could not find anything. And we're like, we don't know what to do. And like my husband actually thought I was crazy because I thought that I smelled it every time we turned on the air conditioning. He's like, no, it's not related. Like, it's just something dirty in the house. Like, he thought it was really like, not connected.
And did you buy the air conditioner firsthand or was it you?
Yeah, it was new. Yeah,
Okay.
It was from Amazon, just, standard air conditioner. So I turned to Google and I'm like Googling, what could this fishy smell be, right?
Yeah.
And it said the first thing that came up is like, beware if you smell a fishy smell in your house because it could be an electrical problem.
Oh.
So
okay.
I don't know the science behind this, but somehow wires burning can smell like fishy.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're like, oh, that's not good.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
Immediately. Red flags.
Yeah. We don't want anything, exploding. So we sent, like a maintenance request to the building. And they're pretty quick about it, getting back to you. But I think they didn't get back to us for like a week probably.
Okay.
And we had like, I was scared to use the air conditioner because like every time it was just like nasty, like it.
Yeah, it's like Googling like when you have a cold, like what's wrong with me? And it tells you like the worst possible outcome.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, I don't want like, if the air conditioner has like wires burning, I don't want that to explode. I don't want, to blow up.
So now you're just like sweating in your apartment waiting for the maintenance guy to come.
Yeah, pretty much. So like the smell kind of went away, I guess, because we stopped using it. And I was like too scared to, burn anything down.
Did your husband at this point, was he like on board with you? Like, okay, it's an air conditioner thing. Like he didn't think you were crazy anymore?
I don't remember. It was also very weird. I didn't mention this, but so the air conditioner was in the living room. But when we turned it on, we smelled the smell in the kitchen and in the bathroom.
Interesting.
It was like very weird. So like I think he thought I was crazy the whole time. He's like, no, it's not connected. But then I think once we figured out like, or we Googled that it could be an electrical thing, I think he was more like, okay, maybe there's like some faulty wiring in it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely, like, it didn't make any sense, you know? So
yeah.
I was like, maybe there's something like in the bathroom drain, in the kitchen drain, maybe the
and
the
then
plumbing.
You start questioning yourself, like, am I smelling it? Is this
real?
Like the whole
it's
thing,
just messes with your whole you're gaslighting yourself, basically. Basically. So then I think it was like probably a week and a half after we first started smelling it. And I had been like going for walks every morning. This was like right after I had like graduated, so I like hadn't gotten my first job yet. I was like still job hunting. So I was like trying to establish a routine, you know, I'd like go for a walk every day, try to like get out of the house. So it was one morning, I was going for a walk, and as I was about to leave the building manager comes by and she's like, oh, can I just talk to you for a second? I'm like, okay. Thinking like she's gonna say, oh, you know, the fix-it guy will come on this day, whatever. So she brings me over and she's like, oh, someone wants to speak to you. And who do I see but a police officer?
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, like what? Like, was my car stolen? Like what? Yeah. Like what's going on? Like what is happening? Did someone like break in? Like, I don't know, like my mind's racing, you know? Nobody wants to go talk to a police officer.
Not particularly.
So he says, so you submitted a maintenance request about the smell in your apartment. I'm like, yeah. Like, it's when we plug in our air conditioner, you know, we smell fishy smell, like, I don't know. So then he looks back at me and he says, so the smell you noticed, it wasn't an electrical issue. It was coming from the apartment 2 floors below you. And I'm like, I'm still confused. I'm like, okay, so they cook really nasty fish. Like what? I don't get it.
And why is it coming through the drains in the bathroom?
Yeah, like what does this have to do with me and a police officer?
Yeah.
And then he hits me with, an elderly lady passed away in that unit 2 weeks ago, and no one found her until you and one other person reported the smell. Yeah.
That is terrible.
Yeah. So for 2 weeks, every time we turned on our air conditioner, we were smelling a decomposing body.
Oh, what? Because the vents would like bring up this. What was
right? Happening? So I don't know the science behind it, and anybody who's smarter or more sciencey than me, maybe one of your listeners is like an air conditioner mechanic or something, but we think that it's because like it had a tube that goes out the window, right? So it was sucking the air from the apartment out the window. So we think that like the sucking was like so powerful that it would like pull the air out of the vents. And then it would like make the smell come more out of the vents, because it made sense. There was a vent in the bathroom and in the kitchen.
Yes.
So yeah, it was horrible. Horrible. I was horrified. Like,
so someone else had also reported it?
So I think one other person who lived like 2 doors down or something. But the craziest part for us was that it wasn't the apartment right below us. The one right below us was empty. It was 2 floors below us. We're on the 3rd floor. So it had taken, maybe he said it was there for 3 weeks. I don't remember how long he said it was there for, but however long it was, it had taken so long that it had gone through 2 floors to us. And because there was nobody in between, we discovered it.
You got the brunt of it. Oh my God. So why did the policeman have to talk to you? Was he just kind of like sharing the update?
I don't know why, but well, actually I do. They wanted to make sure that there was like no like foul play or anything. So he said, can someone interview you? I was like, oh gosh, like I don't really have any connection to this, but sure.
Yeah, I was just sweating in my apartment.
Yeah, like I don't know anything. But then he's like, okay, so someone's gonna come to your apartment. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm about to go on a walk. Like, can I still go on my walk?
Yeah, routine comes first, officer.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you can go, but just like don't go so far and like be back soon. I'm like, okay. So I go on my walk. I think I called my husband at this point. I was like, oh my God, you won't believe what just happened. I was so horrified, you know, like we're sitting here complaining about the smell, like, oh, you know, so annoying. And it's like, no, a woman had literally died and no one checked on her and no one knew she was gone. Like, how sad is that, you know?
That is sad. I guess I was thinking selfishly, like, oh, like you've been inhaling these.
Yeah, but like nobody checked on her. Like, poor thing, you know?
That is really sad.
So, yeah. So I go on my walk, I come back, and I'm like waiting anxiously in my apartment. I'm like, what is going to happen? I get a knock at the door. It's like this young guy. He was literally like my age. I'm like, how are you a police officer? I don't know. But he comes in, and I'm like, you know, I don't know how to act like when there's a police officer in your house, you know?
I've never had a police officer in my house.
It's not like a normal occurrence. So I'm like, do you want to sit down? Like, can I get you something?
Cup of tea, maybe.
Yeah, like, I don't know how to approach the situation. And he's like, no, I'm fine, whatever. He sits down, starts interviewing me. He's like, okay, when did this start? You know, can you describe the smell? Like, oh God. Yeah. And then he goes, like, did you know the lady? I'm like, I live in a building with like 12 floors. I don't even know my neighbors, you know, like I just moved in a month ago, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess he's trying to make sure I didn't have anything to do with it. But I was like, why would I report the smell if I had something to do with it, you know?
Yeah. Although, you know, you could be that advanced.
I guess. I guess.
Thinking of it all.
I don't know. So he interviews me. Yeah. He goes on his way. And that was the last I heard about it. But one thing that I remember that was the craziest part was that the building manager actually said, she's like, I don't remember if she said she's experienced this before, but she definitely said, she's like, this is not, like, it's not so uncommon as you would think in these kind of buildings. Ugh. Yeah.
And you're like, who's died in my apartment, in my unit?
Yeah.
You know? Like,
yeah. And she's like, I've worked in, you know, building management for many years. It's not that uncommon, you know, these people living alone. And unfortunately, there's no family nearby or they're like estranged from them and just nobody checks on them.
Yeah, that is really sad, actually.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it's a good point for the like elderly or isolated people out there. We need to be checking up on them. First of all, I love how you set up the story. Like, you totally led me down a garden path. That was amazing. I was like, oh, this air conditioner, like, are you gonna sue Amazon?
Yeah.
That was really good. And it also reminded me, I went to visit a friend in New York many years ago, and I was in her apartment, and she asked me to crack open a window. And I guess I'm like a bit oblivious to the way that things work sometimes, but this wasn't an air conditioner that has a tube out the window. This was like the air conditioner that
it sits in the window? Yeah.
You know? So I like walk over to the window and I start pulling and we're probably on like the 8th floor or something.
Yeah.
She looks at me, she's like, Adina, what are you doing?
Oh no.
And I just like turned around. I was like, what?
Did it fall out the window?
It didn't. Thank God. But she was like, Adina, you could have been accused of manslaughter. Yeah. Someone had been walking underneath and you had dropped the air conditioner. And since then, I feel like I do everything with a certain extra level of care now. Because I'm like, if I could be that kind of ditzy about that situation, I'm like, what else? What other dangers are around me that I need to be aware of?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like now I'm the same with smells. Like, you know, you never know what you could be smelling.
It is a thing about like old apartments, like this apartment as well. When I moved in, I think it had been empty for a while, and I smelled this smell that I felt like was coming from the drain, and everyone thought I was crazy. My mom was like, no, there's no smell. My dad was like, no, smells totally fine. Meanwhile, I'm buying all these detergents, Pine Sol, Drano, everything to try and get rid of it, and I can't get rid of it. And eventually, like, I realized if I open all the windows and like leave nothing in the kitchen, then there's like less of a smell. So for about a year of no one believing me, I just did that. Like, I had my windows open, the doors open, everything because the smell like revolted revolted me. And I felt gaslit too. I was like, I can smell this. Can no one else smell this? Anyway, recently I was like, you know what? I'm taking matters into my own hands. I've been in this place for 3 years. I called the property manager. I was like, we really have to do something about this smell.
Yeah.
And they bring in, I guess, a plumber. I'm not sure what his job title is, but he spent ages under the sink.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what's going on? Like, please tell me there's something here, like a dead rat. Like, give me something. You know?
Yeah.
And he said that because I'm on the 15th floor, something about the science and the whatever, and things get stuck in the drain.
Yeah.
And he totally validated all my concerns. So
wow.
I just want you to know that if you smell something, you might actually be smelling something.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I thought I was crazy. I was like, how do I, like, even my parents, they were like, no, it can't be that bad. Then after I told everyone, they're like, oh my gosh. Like,
and that's probably like the worst smell. Like, ugh. It also reminds me of, like the Jeffrey Dahmer story. I watched like, the Netflix show, and his neighbor would often come to him and say like, what is that smell? And he would say, you know, like it's just meat going bad in my freezer. And I don't know, trust your instincts,
right? Yeah. And then it was so funny after I told my parents this, my dad is like a little bit unhinged, but because my husband had been already living in that apartment for like 6 months before I moved in. And then with 2 people in it, like it was just tiny. It was like not even a 1-bedroom. They called it a junior 1-bedroom. So to tell you how small it was. But we were thinking maybe once we got married, we'd see if they had an opening for another apartment in the same building. And my dad has the audacity to say, oh, well, there's one vacant on the first floor now.
Don't tell me you moved there.
No. That would be like the cherry on top of the story. But no. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, I don't know how they're going to rent it. I mean, I guess they're not going to tell people, but, you know, I guess the neighbors would still know.
You know, I did have the suspicion. I was like, did somebody die in my apartment?
Yeah.
You know, that is what I thought about the smell. Not that I know what that smells like. But, you know, maybe that's why people are like blowing me off a little and not taking me seriously. But yeah, I mean, it's true. We got to keep on living, and an open unit is hard to come by, especially in the city. So
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, Jordana, thank you so much for sharing that story. Very wacky and unusual. Yeah. Is that like a story you tell? Like, what made you think of this story for the show?
Well, so I was listening to your other episodes, and especially the one with Al and the finding the baby on the doorstep. And I was like, that's such a wild story. Like, what's my most wild story? And then I was like, oh, it's for sure this one. Like, I remember after it happened, like, it was right around like the Jewish holidays, and everybody's house that we went to, we're just like, no, we have to tell this story, you know?
Like, way to set the mood, you know, right before dinner.
Yeah. It just turned into like a thing. So
amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing with me. Hilarious, relatable, and kind of gross and sad all at the same time. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, this was so fun.
Thanks for listening to Tell Me a Story. If you like what you heard, like, subscribe, follow, you know the drill.